What is going on, family? Welcome back to part 2 of the bookkeeping versus budgeting. I'm happy that you went through part 1 and that you're back here to check out part 2, where we're going to dive into the actual bookkeeping system and why that's important to you. So without any further delays, we'll get to it right after this. Okay, so now that we've looked at and understood in part 1 what a budget is and how it works, let's dive into what a bookkeeping system looks like and the benefits of having one. Like I said previously, bookkeeping is a process. It's the process of reconciling all of your business transactions from your business bank account to your chart of accounts. Which brings me to my next point. The things that you need to set up your bookkeeping system. And as I just mentioned, the first one you'll need is a business bank account. The reason you don't want to use a personal account is that for administrative purposes, you don't want to commingle the funds. You want to be sure that every transaction that goes through that bank account is a business transaction only, including payments. The next thing you'll need is an actual bookkeeping system. Now, I know there are a bunch of options, both free and paid. However, the one that I use personally is called Xero. This is not a paid promotion for Xero. I'm not an affiliate for them. I just love their platform, okay? And speaking of promotions, before we get too far, here's a word from our sponsor. Hey family, it's me again. Just here to remind you that if you are serious about being an entrepreneur, or you've reached a point in your business where things are just kind of, there, and really not moving forward or growing, don't feel bad. It's happened to the best of them. The only difference is they discovered what needed to be done to change things around and become successfully self-employed. And well, now you can too. If you are tired of not knowing what to do next and you are ready to grow your business into something big enough to support your family and provide financial freedom for yourself, go to www.selfemployedbusinessacademy.com and download your free copy of the Business Blueprint to get started. All right, so let's get back to it. The reason you want an actual bookkeeping system is because you want to be able to set up what is called your chart of accounts. The chart of accounts is just what the name says it is, a chart of accounts. It's a list of accounts that's normal for your type of business. To simplify things, let me show you a sample of what a chart of account looks like. A good example of a chart of accounts is really a simple Schedule C. As we can see here, right, like the list of common expenses on a Schedule C is the perfect example of what a chart of accounts is. But in the bookkeeping world, the chart of accounts is used to categorize your business transactions. Normally, the only difference between a Schedule C and a bookkeeping system is that the Schedule C is normally filled out at the end of the year, whereas with the bookkeeping system, it's updated frequently throughout the year. Now, do note that you don't need a bookkeeping software. You can use Excel if you like. If you're an Excel freak like me, you can do so. Okay, you can actually turn that bookkeeping budget that we did in part 1 into something similar. Okay, so now that we have both our business bank account and the bookkeeping system of our choice, let me show you the inner workings of how bookkeeping software works. Of course, since I like using Xero, this demonstration is going to be done using the Xero system. But keep in mind that all bookkeeping systems generally do all the same thing. So let's dive in and, like I said, show you how it looks. All right, fam, here we go. Inside of Xero, the bookkeeping software that I'm a fan of. And again, I'm not an affiliate for Xero. This is not a paid promotion. I just like their system. So any links that you see to Xero is not an affiliate link. It's just a link for you to go check it out. As a matter of fact, I do believe they may have, when you get to try it free for 30 days or something like that. I'll double check and see, but I'll make sure I just put a link in the video down below. But here we are again inside of Xero. When you first log into your Xero account, this is what you will immediately be taken to. This is the dashboard. And you'll see right here in the top left side, this is the demo company, right? Every account comes with a demo account. And the reason they come with a demo account is because if you're unfamiliar with how to set things up, how things work, you can always go into the demo account, play with it, mess around, mess it up, and it will not affect your actual business account, which is, there's a lot of reasons I love Xero, but this right here is definitely one of them. But if you never done this before, looking at this screen can almost be overwhelming. So let me, before we get too deep into it, walk you through what we're looking at here on this screen. First box we see here is our checking account, right? Remember I said you want to have a business bank account when doing bookkeeping because you want all the transactions, both income and expenses, to go through one account. Well, that one account, you connect to Xero, and it is going to show you a snapshot here in your dashboard. Notice the balance in Xero is different than the balance that's on your bank statement, okay? And the reason that is because we have 29 items that have yet to be reconciled. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it. Then up under that, we see that we have a savings account right here. You can connect as many accounts as you need to Xero, okay? Your credit card accounts, your PayPal, your Stripe, your Square, savings, everything you have in your business transactions, you can connect right here to Xero. Also on the dashboard, you see your total cash in, cash out, and if you hover over the bar graphs, you'll see numbers. In August, what came in, what went out, September, in, out. You'll be able to see all of that information here. Going back up to the top, on the right of your checking account is your accounts watch list. Kind of like budgeting. If you know you've set an amount for advertising, this is the amount that you set, and you can kind of look to see, okay, have I reached that number, right? Like I want to watch this particular account and make sure that I'm staying in range with my spending. Then invoices owed to you. Another reason why I like Xero, because invoices owed to you in accounting language, in that particular lingual, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but accountants don't say invoices owed to you. To us or to them, because I'm technically not an accountant, they are using the word AR, accounts receivable, right? But if you're unfamiliar with that term, you're like, well, what's AR? What does that mean? How do I do this, right? Xero keeps it in plain language. This is why I love them. This is why I personally recommend them to individuals who are just getting started and want to do it themselves. Invoices owed to you is very simple. Who owes you money, right? So you'll be able to see that right here. Look at the 2 draft invoices we haven't sent out yet because they're drafts. We have 9 people that owe us money, and it's totaling up to $9,172.63. And then we have 5 people that are overdue to us, right? Totaling up to this amount. So we can get a good snapshot of how much money is out there in the world just looking at the dashboard here. And reverse, bills we need to pay. Again, in the accounting world, that lingo is called AP or accounts payable, right? But to us, if you're unfamiliar with that term, what bills do you got to pay? Who do you owe money to? You have 17, well, not you, but in the demo, it will show you where you have 17 bills that need to be paid, and this is what it totals to, okay? Expense claims, if you have any expenses, like if you set up as an S Corp and you're reimbursing yourself, the things like that, you can set up an expense, and this is completely editable. right? Like you can edit this dashboard. You can put things here. You can take things around you. You can move it. You can show columns. It's pretty customizable for you here on the demo. Well, also not just on the demo, but on your when you get your Xero account, if you get your Xero account. But now let's kind of go into the nuts and bolts of this thing. One other thing I like about Xero is that you can open up everything in new tabs, right? So for example, I want to look at the invoices. I can go to that, open up a new tab. I want to look at my bills to pay, new tab. And the reason I like it, again, for organizational purposes, is the fact that I always want to come back to my dashboard. Well, I can go here, take a look at all the invoices that I have. I can go here, take a look at all of my bills. And when I'm done, just exit out and be right back in my dashboard, which is why I completely love Xero. I don't know if anybody else does that, but I know Xero has made that. And another thing, if you ever look at all of these things that we hover over, they're links. They can take you directly to there, right? You can go to your checking account by right-clicking it and open that. You can look at this advertising, right-click and open that. You can look at the invoices. All of that will open up and it will take you right there to everything that you opened up to and be like, okay, this is what that is. And just exit right on out and start back at your dashboard. So the reason you really want to get bookkeeping system like this, obviously, is to track everything, your invoices, your bills to pay, expenses, product, services, tax, like that. But the main reason is for the reports. All right, so let's go to the reports. I'm gonna right click and open up that in a new tab. As a matter of fact, let me do this because I know we talked about the chart of accounts, so let me open that up in another tab as well. So in the accounting tab of Xero, this is where you're going to find the reports. And the most popular report that you as a business owner is going to be looking at is your income statement, which is the profit and loss. Okay, this is going to tell you what happened between the first of the year to the end of the year, how much money you've made and how much money you have spent. Okay. So we can see this one here. We can, what is this for the year, December 31st, 2022. Our gross profit shows 0 actually. I wonder why that is. Oh, you know what? Because we haven't reconciled anything yet. Yeah, so let me kind of go back and see that. But we can see here, just so you'll know, this is going to show you your gross profits and the expenses that you have. And that's where you're going to say, okay, this is what you're going to give to your tax preparer, and they're going to love you for it because everything is organized. This is how much you made, this is how much you spent, and this is what you're spending on. But remember, I talked about the chart of accounts. This is where you're going to go in and set up your chart of accounts. All of the accounts that you may spend money on, right? Tracking, loans, your draws, interest income, advertising, entertainment. These are all of the accounts that you're going to reconcile the expenses to. And if you're unfamiliar with setting up a chart of accounts, good thing at Xero, they have demos you can look at. But another thing about Xero is if you get to a point where you may need to actually hire a bookkeeper and maybe bring an accountant on board, you can invite them into Xero to kind of do everything for you. So you don't necessarily have to be stuck by yourself. That's another great thing about Xero here. But let's kind of go into what happens. So now we can see how our report is not really all there. And the reason that is because we have not reconciled. So let's click on, we want to reconcile these items. Again, I'd like to put it in a new tab, so we do always go back there. But reconciliation is simply matching up what's on the bank statement with what's in the bookkeeping software. We want to reconcile the two together to make sure that everybody's there. So let's kind of go through. And again, this is a demo account, is used to kind of show you everything. So the first transaction here, it says to discuss, because again, you can invite an accountant or a bookkeeper in and have them help you with the books if you're unfamiliar or you get into a point where it's not comfortable for you. And when they do that, if they find a transaction that they're not sure of, they can hit the discuss tab, type a note in, okay, and send it to you. And y'all can discuss it, through email. You don't necessarily have to hop on the phone, set a meeting or something like that. You just a quick email that says, hey, here is a, let me get rid of this here. I'll tell you about that in a second. But like it says here to discuss, this is a payment on a really old invoice and wasn't sure where to code it. Now, when we talk about coding it, that means to what account on the chart of accounts do we want to put it to, right? If it's a really old invoice. And if you're ever curious, if you want to get more details, you click on or just hover over more details and information will come up right here. The transaction happened on December 27th. It was a payment from City Limousines. So it looks like it says it's a partial payment because it's a part and it's $100. But we know some old invoices there. But let me backtrack because I don't want to confuse everybody. So let's break down the columns. To the left, this column here is what's going to be your bank statement line, as it says right here. The right side is going to be the transactions that's recorded in Xero, if any. The beautiful thing is, if the transaction is recorded in Xero prior to the bank statement happening, it will automatically match it. So you can see right here, if you hover over here, it's going to tell you this is a bank transaction. It was put in Xero manually. And so now when it actually comes through and we can see that this number is matching this number, then we hit OK, boom, reconciled, done. OK, money received, another one. This here is from an invoice. You can see when I hover over that, it says sales invoice. So an invoice was paid. This matches this. Reference number matches reference number. Amount matches amount. All we do is click OK. Boom. Reconcile. But here's one that we don't know, right? Because the reconcile button doesn't say OK. So what we can do, we can kind of go again, look at where it says more details. This was a payee from Jacaranda Maple Systems, an advanced deposit of $2,000. So, okay, fine. We can add details, which is what I like to do because I like to go into the add the details. Once we hit that, you notice it automatically fills in the client name, the date. If we want to put a reference number on there, we can. If we have items to choose from, you can set items up that automatically go in. And once you do so, it will fill all this information in here. But we're not. We're going to leave it blank. So now we have to decide first what it is, right? A Maple system. What account are we going to have this go to? Is it an expense account? And all of this is set up through our chart of accounts. It's not an expense account. It's a payment. So it's going to be, it's not an asset. We want to go down to our sales revenue account. So we are going to put this to sales because it's something that we've done for someone. At least we're going to assume for this demonstration, we've made a sale. They paid us. Bam. As long as we put that on the account, we save the transaction. And now it's ready to reconcile. Do that. Boom. Done. Same thing here. Let's do another one with we spent $4,500. Well, let's add some details. What is the smart agency? Let's say the smart agency, it is an expense. So let's say it's an advertising agency and we gave them $4,500 to do something. That's all we need to put on there, right? We can put a description if we want to change that. Paid for, I don't know, what's popular nowadays? TikTok, I must put this right. Paid for TikTok ads, maybe something like that. So we have a description in there. And another beautiful thing, if they sent us an invoice and we wanted to actually keep track for some substantiation, proof, right? We can click on this icon here to bring the invoice in, or we can upload a file. We can drag it in off the computer, put it in here. So what happens is once we save this transaction, if there's a receipt, a paper receipt, or email transaction, we want to put a PDF, we can put in there. It will save it with it. And that'll be our substantiation for that transaction. So once I hit reconcile, boom, it's gone. And we simply go in and we do this for everything. We reconcile every single transaction, everything that's received, right? We can do that. Everything that says, okay, I'm going to just do this for purpose of demonstrating. Kind of go back in. I'm going to get as much as possible because what I want to do is now that we've received some income, bank deposit, let me add details. Shortcut. You don't always have to add details here, right? You don't necessarily have to do that. You can do it right from I think I lost my place here. Where'd it go? Okay, receipt 450. We can do it right from here, right? We can do it. I think I was on the 1500. My apologies. I'm all over the place. So we can either match, or we can try to find something that fits this, or we can, let me go back and cancel this out. For that same 1500, we can create. We know, was it the bank deposit? Who we want to say that this came from? Let's see, was it the limousine company? Let's say ABC Furniture paid us $1,500 for whatever. We're going to put this into an account because it was a received amount. I'm going to go all the way down to sales again and put it in here and put a description, payment for consults. Boom. Now that's there. Notice now that all the information is there, the OK is there, hit OK, it's reconciled. So now that I've reconciled everything, let's go back to the demo and I'm gonna hit the refresh button on it. Notice how we're closer. The balance is zero, is no longer is negative, it's positive. The statement balance is a little different because we still have 20 items that need to reconcile. But for sake of time, I'm not going to go through the entire reconciliation and showing everything. I just kind of want you to get an understanding of how a good bookkeeping system can help you with your finances. So let me go back to the accounting, go down to the reports, or if you notice something, it's down here, the income statement, because we can favorite reports. We don't necessarily have to always click, then go find. You can favorite your report. So I'm going to put that here. And another one, note, there's a sales tax report for all of my people who do retail sales and you got sales across the country and you know that Wayfair versus South Dakota now has made sales tax a very taxing thing. You can actually get you a sales tax report, have that set up and things like that. So let's go look into it now. And let me try to update and see if it's still going to show us nothing. And it's not showing us no gross profit. So I'm not sure why. Let's see if we can look at this financial year. Maybe update it. Nothing sure, but you know, my apologies. I don't know what's happening here. That's what happens, right? So, but one thing I like is we can compare periods. You can always look and see this is what happened. So I guess I had to compare a period to bring it up here because we were looking at 2021. Maybe that's what I needed to do, y'all. Why y'all didn't tell me that? I need to go to the last financial year. Now we look at that. So it shows here, this is our total sales, 34,000, cost of goods was an expense, our gross profit, 31,945. We look at our operating expense, 43,000. Well, we ended up with a loss of 11,000. And again, this is something that you take to your tax preparer and they love it for you because all of the information is here. And if you're ever curious about how you arrived at this number, remember I said, when you see these blue links, they're clickable. Open up a new tab and it's going to take you to everything that happened for that particular number. Everything that ended up being that number, you can see right here in detail. If we want to see, okay, I spent $14,000 in advertising, to who? Well, who I spend that money to? Well, right click on it, open the new tab, and it's going to show you this is how you came up with that number. All of the information is there, and you can do that with anything that's clickable. Wages and salaries, we can right click that and see who got paid, how much, did we pay somebody too much, too little, everything that is here, all of the FICA, federal withholding, all of the taxes, all of that information is available at the click of a button. And again, this is why software like this is extremely beautiful. I simply just exit out and I'm good to go. But we can see this is the beauty of it. Everything at your fingertips, and all you have to do is connect your business bank account and reconcile the transactions, and you have so much information to you at your fingertips. So go get you. Go sign up with something. Again, I like Xero. You don't have to use Xero, but get busy. Get you something like this. Make it happen. All right, family, and there you have it, a bookkeeping system. Again, that was Xero. I like Xero, not an affiliate form. This is not a paid promotion. The reason I like Xero is because the user interface, it just uses plain language, right? You don't have to necessarily be an accountant to understand what they're talking about, even though it's for accountants. But there it is. Again, most bookkeeping systems all do the same thing. You simply connect your bank account, set up your chart of accounts, start reconciling things. So that way, towards the end, you can run your reports because your tax preparer is going to love you for it because you have everything organized. And then you'll know what's happening in your business. You'll be able to make decisions like, okay, this unit of whatever it is we're selling isn't making no money. So we don't need to put nothing else towards it, or we can just let it go completely, or we're spending this money on ads, but it's not bringing in the revenue, or we're getting cash flow in the month of January, but in March we're kind of low, right? All of those things will be revealed to you so you can be more savvy and better to make financial decisions. And if you connect it to the bookkeeping and if you connect your bookkeeping software to your budget, man, do you have a powerful arsenal to use at financial decision makers. You see the shirt where it's run me those numbers. I got to read it this way. I got to look down. Run me those numbers. That's the whole thing. Why? Because numbers don't lie. They tell the truth. All right. So again, if you found value in this video, as always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give it a thumbs up and hit the bell notification, as we'll be doing videos. I don't know who we is, but I'll be doing videos like this all the time. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Know that I love you. Get your bookkeeping and your budget in order. Make this year the best financial year ever. All right? And if you need help, I got you. Just let me know. But until then, know that I love you, and I will see y'all in the next one.